everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I want to talk to you about growing potatoes in the ground. Potatoes are one of my favorite vegetables to grow. I've been growing them since I was a child. I think potatoes are kind of one of those gateway into gardening kind of plants, and I often recommend growing them in containers, which is what yesterday's video addressed. But today I want to show you how easy they are to plant in the ground. So the critical components for potatoes: full sun, moist but well-drained soil, and what I really like to utilize is putting them along sunny bed edges, because their foliage as it grows is actually poisonous to browsing mammals. And no, it doesn't kill the animals, but they don't like the taste, so they tend to leave the border alone. So a lot of times I like to pair potatoes with plants that really do get munched on quite a bit, like echinacea, which I have planted right here. So instead of having to fight the deer, I'm just going to try and beat them at their own game by planting potatoes as a companion plant in front of this patch of native coneflowers. So let me show you exactly how simple it is. All right, so it's important to note these are just potatoes from the grocery store that started to sprout, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with planting these. I've been doing it for decades with great success. And you can see I'm right here along a bed edge. Now I've got a hose here, and I don't want the hose to potentially get in the way of my potatoes as they grow. So I'm going to focus on planting them a little bit farther in than right along the edge, but still close enough to the echinacea where they will provide benefit. Now I'm not going to dig these too deep. I'm looking at about 8 inches deep, and I'm literally just going to drop the whole potato in, growing side up, right into the hole, and then I'm going to cover it up. It could not be easier. It's one of those things that I think once you try it, you'll realize like growing potatoes is something that everyone should do. So I'm going to do the same thing here. You can plant them in a big trench, but in this particular spot, and since I only actually have 4 of these small white potatoes, I'm just going to plant them in individual holes. Now that leaves me with this big russet potato, which could have been chopped up into pieces, but you have to allow those to dry for about a week. My travel schedule at this time of year is so vigorous, I just don't have time to wait. So I'm going to go ahead and plant it whole. But I'm going to go ahead and differentiate it by planting it in a different section of this bed, so that in theory, when it comes to harvesting time, I'll remember that these were the small white potatoes and this one in the back of the bed is a russet. Now you can see here in the bed I've got some evergreen ground cover sedum. I've got lots of garlic. I even have an onion that is growing really well here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop this russet potato into this open space. Again, I'm going to try and get the hole about 8 inches deep. That way there's plenty of space for more tubers to grow as it starts to grow up. And I'm just going to place it down there and then cover it back up. Remember, full sun is best, moist, well-drained soil. Growing potatoes in the ground is, I think, something that is just really practical overall, and it's so easy. It takes like 30 seconds to do. So why not give it a try? Well, I hope you'll be inspired to go ahead and get some potatoes planted in the ground and in some containers so that you can compare the results just like I am. And I hope that you will share this with your friends. Like I said, potatoes are a great gateway into gardening, certainly a plant that touches most people's lives in some capacity, and I promise you the satisfaction of harvesting your own homegrown potatoes is really matched by nothing else. Well, please subscribe so that you can stay in the loop for regular updates on this project and everything that I have going on here in my Zone 7 Central North Carolina garden. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Happy gardening.